Hamstring Havoc, day 3. We're going to start stretching the length of your leg, the length of your leg now. So first we're going to do it standing. And just like with everything else, everybody's going to be at a different level with this, so you're going to have to figure out what's going to work best for you. You weight down into a standing leg. You pick one of your two, and that's the leg you're gonna stand on. The other leg is gonna go out in front of you, a little bit lifted onto something and straight. And you're going to engage your quadricep muscle. You can flex, you can point, or you can floint, which is like a Barbie point. Think of a Barbie foot. It's a combo. Any of the 3 of those ankle foot shapes, okay? Each of them do slightly different things in terms of activating the leg as a whole, but the idea is that you want to activate this leg as a whole unit, okay? I'm going to switch to standing on my right leg so that you can see my left leg first. If you'll recall from day 2, we talked about plugging the femur up into the hip capsule. That is going to be something that is essential for you to hone in on, to lift your leg up. And then the other concept that we're going to get into right now, is called reciprocal inhibition, which means, in summary, that when one side of your body is working, the other side of your body is stretching. So if you want to stretch the back of your leg, the top of your leg, or the front of your leg has to be working. And so that is what we're going to activate here. We're going to lean into reciprocal inhibition, and we need to plug that thigh bone up and make sure that the joint is solid, right? It's active, holding things in position. And then you're going to lift your leg up and put it down to whatever point you can. So plug your thigh bone in. If you lift it up an inch and that's all you got, but these muscles are very active, then you're doing the thing. All right? You might not even be able to get that far up. You might need to start all the way on the ground with your toes pointed. Get this, if you imagine SpongeBob, right, with the leg. Get your leg extremely active, quads, everything flexed, toes pointed, flexed or flointed, right? And then you just lift it up, right, to where it's floating. So maybe toe pointed to ankle flexed, where everything is plugged in and the front is turned on. Release, then flex, point, and then flex, point, and then flex. That's probably the most scaled back version of this, but it could look like completely freestanding. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other leg now to give my left leg, right leg a break. It could be all the way up. And there are some people who can almost get their toes up in line with their eyeballs. That is not me. Plug it in, all right? Lift it up and hold it under tension. How long is up to you. And then put it down. Another thing you can do while you're here is, if you have a softer surface to work with, like this bed here, you can push down on purpose and activate a few times while you are long. Previously, we've activated by shortening the leg. In this paradigm, you're activating the leg long while it's supported. So you have sort of 2 options to play around with while you're standing. Both of them are good. They both do slightly different things. You're just looking to lean into plugging your thigh bone up into your hip capsule, and especially using the activation in the front of your legs to help prime the back of your legs to release. And then the next thing is one of the most ubiquitous hamstring stretches of all time. And there's a couple of approaches. I'm just gonna snag a blanket off of my son's bed, and we're gonna pretend like this is a yoga strap. It could be a belt. It could be anything that you can use to grab your foot. Sometimes a blanket type situation is better because it can help support the bottom of the foot a little bit more comfortably for some people. All right, so just like when we were doing the knee to chest, you certainly can do this with one leg extended, but you also can do it with that same leg planted. This is an anchor leg. It's not passive, it's pressed down purposefully, and it's not letting me go anywhere. But I'm taking this hip flexor. If it's tight, I'm taking it out of the equation. It's not going to be a limiting factor. And then you just strap up the leg that you want to go straight, and you put it up and you hold it. Now, most people just hold it, but let's refine that a little bit. If your neck is doing this, then you need to have some support under the back of your head somehow so that your spine is neutral. If your back is way out of alignment in one way or the other, you've got to find that nice neutral spine through your torso, not just through your head and neck. So make sure that your spine is neutral, including your head and neck, while you're here. And then the general recommendation is just to hold, which I do recommend as well. However, before you get into it and you hold, let's consider a couple of other options real quick. If you want that reciprocal inhibition to really start to work for you here, then having a large gap between your belly and your thigh means that there's still a lot of room here that other parts of the front of you could be working harder. Everything that's on the floor right now is off. It's not working. Only the front of my leg is working, which is helping the back of my hamstring to relax. But could I do more? Yes, I could do more. And I could do more by lifting my upper body up off of the ground and holding here actively. That's a lot of abs. And you have to be able also to hold weight in your throat and flexion your spine, round your spine, right? Very much on purpose. But as you do that, a lot of times you'll be able to drop that leg closer into your body. And then when you do, and you lay back down, some of that extra length goes with you, just because you turned on more of your body in the process of trying to release the back of your leg. So that is what I would recommend. As you're setting up for that stretch in the back of your leg, before you're good and ready to just sit there and simmer with it, lift your upper body up for a few rounds of breath. Even if you're using your prop here. Remember, you're not pulling with your arms are straight. So choke up on that strap or blanket or towel as high up as you can. You lift your upper body up. You feel everything in the front of your body working, including your leg. Pull your leg in as close to your body as you can. And when you are tapped out, lay down with it and hold. And just relax. You're not forcing, right? I'm not jamming as straight as I can. That length will come the more the leg comes into my chest. So this one's been stretched for a minute. Let's look at that on the other side. I'm better served to start here and get my thigh in close to the chest first, and then to start the elongation process from this bent knee, but my thigh in close to the chest, and then to curl up, than I am to jam it straight just for the sake of being able to check a box and say, oh, my hamstrings were straight. The straightness doesn't matter. The belly to thiness, that hip flexion, is what's going to stretch the hamstring, even if your knee is significantly bent. And that's that, right? Today, we talked about reinforcing the idea of integrating your thigh up into the top of your hip capsule, and we introduced the concept of reciprocal inhibition and how to leverage that to turn on the front of your body, to turn off the back of your body. And it's not just the front of your leg, but even into the core, where you can get advantages from that reciprocal inhibition. Okay, so that is day 3. Next, we are on to day 4, Hamstring Havoc.